Geiranger, a fantastic UNESCO World Heritage Site. This fjord is known for its incredible, beautiful landscapes and its magnificent waterfalls. So join us as we cruise in through the fjord, tender in and explore. Welcome, we are Steve and Joanne, a retired couple. Our channel is about what we get up to in retirement. This episode is day 3 of our 2024 Norway cruise, and we're currently cruising down the Geiranger Fjord, one of the most beautiful places in the world and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. At the end of the fjord sits our destination, Geiranger, a small village renowned for its breathtaking natural beauty and a key tourist destination, particularly for cruise ships. This will be our 3rd visit here, and the approach along the fjord is one of the key reasons that we love coming to Norway. You are surrounded by awe-inspiring beauty, and we love sitting out on the balcony, taking in every craggy outcrop, the snow-capped mountains, every waterfall, the lush forests, the beautiful waters and the mountain silhouettes. The area is famous for its waterfalls. The Seven Sisters, that's 7 streams that cascade down the mountains side by side. Opposite them is the Suter, a mythical boyfriend waterfall for the 7 Sisters, and further along is the Bridal Veil, and this waterfall appears to have a delicate veil when the sunlight hits the mist. There is absolutely no shortage of great waterfalls here, including one which is going to be a short distance from the ship when we dock, or tender, and it's then a short hike and well worth exploring. The reason we are here now at this time, in this date, is that because since 2018 the clock has been ticking down as we approach 2026, when the Norwegian Government ruled that all cruise ships to all Norwegian World Heritage sites had to be zero emissions, a challenging but admirable goal. That decision followed a growing focus on more sustainable tourism to preserve the fragile environment. Tourism can impact the fjord's ecosystem, and since 2017, the Geiranger Port Authority has set its own limit of 6,000 cruise passengers a day, which is equivalent to around 2 of the cruise ships that we normally go on. So we wanted to come here before 2026 because of the risk of not being able to come after then. We've already started to spot the Geiranger as being taken off of a number of the cruise ships' 2026 itineraries. However, since we booked, the Norwegian government has changed the timescales, focusing on the smaller ships, which is slightly more practical for 2026, and moving the date for the larger ships, those over 10,000 tonnes, which are the ones that we use, out to 2032. That is to give time for the required technology to achieve the zero emissions to evolve and then be implemented. We were still approaching Geiranger when the magic carpet started to descend, which surprised me. I had expected us to have dropped anchor before it actually descended, and it seemed to go down actually to the waterline. We dropped anchor, and then this Norwegian cruise ship actually entered the fjord, cruised past us and went up to Geiranger. There's a floating jetty that they bring out to the ship, so it dropped anchor near that jetty. The system for getting ashore on Celebrity is that if you're going on a ship excursion, then you don't have to book a time to get off the ship and go on shore. But if you're doing your own thing, then you will need to pre-book a tender time, unless you're travelling in retreat class. In retreat class you get priority tender boarding, and to achieve that there is a totally different meeting place where you will then be escorted directly through to the tender launch. On this ship it worked really well. Overall, the experience of using the magic carpet to tender was really good. It was super convenient, they got quick disembarkation, and it was a relatively short trip then to get onto land. Now, our first cruise on Celebrity included Norway as part of a wider cruise that took us to Iceland. It was a cruise that our daughter joined us on, and at the time we were rather surprised that she took us up on our offer to join us on a holiday. She'd been moaning about family holidays for years at that point. Anyway, we all had an absolutely fantastic time, many great memories, some fantastic photos, including some lovely ones that my daughter took of us, one of which we have framed on the sideboard.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Have a wonderful day.
So we've just got off of the tender. When I say we, I mean I. Joanne has decided to stay back in the room. Super easy process, getting on the magic carpet and then just boarding the tender, and we were over here in a short while. Super lovely Geiranger is. The scenery is absolutely breathtaking, and here you can see the Norwegian primer, which has obviously landed before us or moored before us, and they're also having to tender to the shore. Later on in the day the floating pontoon would come out and there was a walkway directly onto the Norwegian ship. My plan is to look around the village first and then to make my way up the waterfall path to one side. Lovely here. Love the way the light hits the Norwegian primer there. Absolutely gorgeous. Geiranger is a picturesque village known for its quaint charm and a small, it's got around 250 residents, close-knit atmosphere. It's managed to preserve its historical roots whilst at the same time offering modern amenities and facilities for what is a significant influx of tourists that occur each day during the season. Tourists don't only come in on the cruise ships, but also by road and foot. There's a single road that leads into the village. We will walk along it later, and living in Brixham, which has a similar setup, we know how congested that can get at the wrong time. Waterfall Path begins near the centre of Geiranger, close to the harbour, and it meanders uphill alongside, I think this is how you pronounce it, Geirangerfjord River. The trail is well maintained. It has sturdy stone steps and also some metal steps and railings, and it makes it very accessible for most hikers and tourists. The trek takes around 40 minutes or so, and that's obviously dependent upon how much you stop, look around, and your overall fitness. You don't need any special gear. Trainers or walking boots are absolutely fine. As we ascend the path, we will encounter several waterfalls. One of the most notable is, I think, again, this is how you pronounce it, I'm not that familiar with Norwegian, Storfossen. And as we go higher, the level of energy of the waterfalls increases and the views get more and more panoramic. Trek that I absolutely love doing. I've done it on every time that we've come here, and it never ceases to take my breath away. There's some 327 steps that you need to go up to get to the top, but you don't have to use that route. There is a road that will lead you up there, and there's some small little buggy type cars that you could either hire or you could get a cab. As you make your way up, you'll find little platforms which you can then use to stop, take some selfies or take in the views. There is a path here that leads you behind the waterfall. I don't tend to do that, and the main reason I don't do it is because of the camera equipment that I'm carrying usually. I have heard though that it's an interesting and somewhat unique experience. Maybe one day I'll get to try it out. Once up the top, there are two routes that you can go. You can either turn left, and there's a hotel and a visitor centre where you can get a nice trip around a museum or a bite to eat, or you can turn right, and that takes in some of the more residential areas, crosses past a number of houses and farms, and I tend to go to the right first of all. As you would expect, tourism is a key aspect of the local economy here, given the World Heritage status and the natural beauty. However, it also continues to enjoy its rural past, and agriculture remains a key industry here, with many of the residents still involved in farming or related businesses. The village's proximity to fertile land has helped support a thriving local food movement, with many restaurants and shops getting their produce from local farms. Good view of the ship from here, and also of the Norwegian. Love the way the light plays on the various mountains, absolutely gorgeous. So tranquil here, no one else here as well, absolutely beautiful. This was about as far as I was going to get on a real road, and when I get to the end I'm never quite sure whether or not it's private property or whether there's a hiking path, so I generally tend to turn round and walk back towards the hotel, taking in the properties again as I walk past them. I love the stark modernism of this visitor centre. It acts as a real contrast against the natural beauty that we see surrounding the fjord. Inside the visitor centre there's a visitor and education hub, and I think it's a family run little museum that has a number of exhibitions that actually focus on the unique and exciting fjord landscape and the fact it was granted the World Heritage status. So you'll learn a bit about the biodiversity, how the animals and plants have adapted. You'll learn a bit about the geology, and it also incorporates some dedicated children's exhibitions and rooms. We're not going to go around it today. There's also a really nice cafe which serves some really good, excellent light meals, and at the far end there's also a convenience and toilet if you so desire. If you remember, I said that you could also get up via a road to the visitor centre, and we're going to go down part of that road now. And here are the buggy cars I talked about earlier. I think they may be electric. This lovely building is the Geiranger Church, which was built in 1842, and it has a marvellous view over the fjord. When I've been here previously, I've always cut down the road which runs to the side of the church and then continued down the road to get back to the village, but I thought for a change I'd go up a bit and see what's up there. Well, you can see the ships out there in the fjord, which is really nice. They've got the walkway for the Norwegian primer out. So I've been up the waterfall walk, which was really nice because you saw the waterfall tumbling down. A lot of power there, real lot of power. I walked along to the church, which was built in, I think it was 1845. Lovely, different shape actually. It's almost a hexagonal shape, made of wood, really nice, interesting to see. And now I'm on my way back down towards the same level that the ship's on. I haven't yet quite decided which way I'm going to go there. I'll sort of suck it and see, if you like. There wasn't a lot going up past the church, just some more residential houses, so I decided to turn around and make my way back. So it turns out that the best way to get down the mountain is to go back to the church, and then there's an entrance out the back with a little path that leads down. It sounds a bit morbid, but if you are going to be buried, this must be one of the loveliest places to be buried and for people to come and visit your grave. This is a short path down, which is just well and good as it wasn't made up and it could get quite congested, as you saw. And back down at the village, and this is where you can hire those electric buggies if you wanted to. Got no idea of how much. They looked so small when you were up on the top of the mountain. Now they look absolutely massive. I have no idea where I'm going. This looks like an interesting path, so I think we'll take this and see where it is. Ferries just come in and the cars have just been discharged. So we're now on the lone road that leads both in and out of Geiranger, and I'm just going. There was an interesting hotel around the corner, and I thought I'd actually walk round to that and try and take it in. It doesn't matter where you are, the cruise ships are very, very visible from every point around the fjord, and a real stark contrast to the natural beauty. Geiranger offers a surprising range of recreational activities for all ages. Nature enthusiasts can enjoy hiking and biking trails that These sort of wander through the surrounding countryside and up the mountains. The river apparently is popular for both fishing and kayaking, and there are something, I think it's 5 hotels, and there's also campgrounds, and all of these add to the village's appeal as an outdoor destination. Just before I got to the hotel that I was aiming for, there was a small waterfall that ran underneath the road. These are beautiful, it just really makes the trip stumbling across these waterfalls absolutely beautiful. This hotel seems to have a set of rooms that are actually within the main building, but also has chalets that are outside and camping facilities as well. Near the water's edge was a small cabin, and you seem to be able to hire a kayak there if you so wanted. Lots of camping around here, and also a lot of canoeing. So that's as far round as I'm going to go. I don't know where the road leads on further. I'm not confident I would have the time to explore and then get back to the ship. So I'm going to make my way back to the ship and have a look around the shops that were just by where we tendered in, and then catch the tender back. I've seen several ferries as I've been walking around, so there must be a very regular service that comes here. So there's quite a variety of shops in Geiranger, most of them catering for the needs of the tourists. You will find traditional Norwegian souvenirs, such as troll figures and Viking themed items, as well as traditional Norwegian clothing. And obviously you get more general souvenirs such as postcards and mugs. You've got some shops that sell locally produced products, and these include things like more jumpers, mainly from Norwegian wool, and also locally produced items such as jewellery and wood carvings. I found one shop that had a really extensive collection of outdoor clothing, really focused on the Norwegian love for the outdoors, and this was presumably to support the tourist who was hiking. And there I found boots, bags, rainproof clothing, hiking gear and other outdoor equipment. I also found a shop that sold traditional Norwegian food items such as jams and local cheeses, so a lot of variety available. Getting back onto the apex was the reverse of getting here, in that we took a tender. Now there was a queue, and the queue moved actually quite quickly, and there seemed to be more than enough tenders available for the passengers that were seeking to return to the ship. I thought the tender was a lovely way to get on and off the ship. Yes, it isn't as efficient as a floating path, but you get such a lovely, unique perspective as you glide over the water, really near to the water level, which you just don't get when you're on dry land or when you're up high in a cruise ship. So another glorious time in Norway. Weather was fine for the majority, but as you probably saw, it rained in a couple of places, but I think that's inherent coming to this part of the world at the time that we come. But absolutely gorgeous, well recommended. As they say in the theatre, it's behind you. Anyway, we all turned round and went the other way.